Welcome back to Z Coins. Today we're diving into a coin that has taken the collector's world by storm. The 2009 Washington $quarter coin. Believe it or not, one of these coins recently sold for an astonishing $2.8 million. That's right, a simple quarter worth millions. So grab your magnifying glass and let's explore what makes this coin so special, how to spot it, and why it's worth such big money. Before we dive into the jaw-dropping price tag, let's talk about the coin itself. The 2009 Washington quarter is part of the United States Mint's District of Columbia and U.S. Territories quarter program. This program followed the famous 50-state quarter series and featured 6 designs representing D.C. and the U.S. territories, including Puerto Rico, Guam, American Samoa, the U.S. Virgin Islands, and the Northern Mariana Islands. The 2009 quarters were minted in lower quantities compared to their predecessors due to the economic recession. This scarcity has made certain 2009 quarters more sought after by collectors. However, the coin we're focusing on today is the 2009 Washington quarter from the Philadelphia Mint. But not just any 2009 Washington quarter is worth millions. The $2.8 million coin is a rare error coin, and that's what makes it so valuable. So what exactly makes this quarter so special? Let's break it down. The $2.8 million 2009 Washington quarter is what's known as an error coin. These errors can occur during the minting process and may include double strikes, off-center strikes, or even rare planchet errors. This specific coin features a highly unusual double die obverse error, where the details on George Washington's profile appear doubled. This error is extremely rare, making this coin a one-of-a-kind find. Condition. Another factor is the coin's condition. The $2.8 million coin was graded MS68 by the Professional Coin Grading Service, PCGS, meaning it is in near-perfect mint condition. For reference, most quarters you find in circulation are heavily worn and would grade much lower. Now, let's talk about the market value. A regular 2009 Washington quarter in circulated condition is worth face value, just 25 cents. However, if you've got one in pristine condition or with a notable error, you're looking at hundreds, thousands, or even millions of dollars. The record-breaking $2.8 million coin was sold at an elite auction where wealthy collectors and investors fiercely bid for it. These kinds of sales are rare, but they highlight how much certain coins are worth to the right buyer. So how can you tell if your 2009 Washington quarter might be valuable? Here are a few tips. Use a magnifying glass or coin loupe to look for doubling, off-center strikes, or any unusual features. Coins in mint or near mint condition are worth more. Look for sharp details and minimal wear. If you think you've got a rare find, consider having it graded by a professional service like PCGS or NGC. This will give your coin an official certification of its authenticity and condition. Remember, even small details can make a big difference. For those of you just getting into coin collecting, here's some advice. Keep your eyes open for interesting coins in your pocket change or from rolls at the bank. The thrill of the hunt is half the fun. And don't forget to do your research. Knowing what to look for is key to finding those hidden treasures. So, there you have it, the incredible story of the 2009 Washington quarter that sold for $2.8 million. Who would have thought a humble quarter could be worth so much? This just goes to show that treasure can be found in the most unexpected places. Now it's your turn to check your change and see if you've struck gold, or, well, silver. Did you know that a 1965 Washington quarter is making waves in the coin collecting world with a jaw-dropping value of $2.9 million? Yes, you heard that right. A coin you might find in your loose change could be worth a fortune. But what makes this coin so special? Stick around as we uncover the secrets behind this valuable piece of history and how you could strike it rich. Let's start with some history. The Washington Quarter, featuring the profile of George Washington, was introduced in 1932 to commemorate his 200th birthday. Over the decades, this coin has become a staple of U.S. currency. But what makes the 1965 version stand out? In 1965, the United States Mint made a significant change to its coins. Due to a national silver shortage, the Mint stopped using 90% silver in dimes and quarters, replacing it with a copper-nickel blend. This was a monumental shift in U.S. coinage. The 1965 Washington Quarter was supposed to be the first of its kind made entirely of copper-nickel. However, some quarters were accidentally struck on leftover silver planchets, and that's where things get interesting. The coins struck on these leftover silver planchets are what collectors are hunting for. These rare mistakes are known as transitional error coins, and they are some of the most sought-after pieces in the numismatic world. What makes these coins so valuable is their extreme rarity. Out of the millions of 1965 quarters produced, only a handful, literally less than 20, are known to have been struck on silver planchets. These rare coins are authenticated and graded by professional services like PCGS or NGC. A coin's condition, or grade, also plays a massive role in its value. A top-grade silver 1965 quarter can sell for millions of dollars. Now, let's talk about the big one, the 1965 Washington Quarter that sold for an astounding $2.9 million. This coin was a mint-condition silver planchet error, authenticated and graded as one of the finest examples ever discovered. This historic sale took place at a prestigious auction house and broke records in the numismatic world. It's a testament to how valuable rare error coins can be. So how can you check if your 1965 quarter is worth millions? Here's what to do. A standard 1965 quarter will have a copper core visible along the edge. If your coin doesn't show any copper and appears silver all the way through, you might have something special. A regular 1965 quarter weighs about 5.67 grams. A silver planchet quarter will weigh closer to 6.25 grams. Use a precise digital scale to check. Get it authenticated. If your coin passes these tests, send it to a professional grading service like PCGS or NGC for authentication. They'll verify if it's struck on a silver planchet. Authentication is key. Without it, even a genuine silver 1965 quarter won't fetch its true value. Even if your 1965 quarter isn't a silver error coin, don't lose hope. High-grade 1965 quarters struck on copper-nickel can still be valuable. Coins graded MS-67 or higher have sold for hundreds or even thousands of dollars. So, it's worth checking your collection carefully. The 1965 Washington Quarter is proof that treasures can be hiding in plain sight. Whether it's a rare silver planchet error or a high-grade regular strike, these coins have the potential to change lives. So, start checking your change. Who knows, you might just find a $2.9 million payday waiting for you. We're talking about the 1986 Washington Quarter, a seemingly common coin that could be worth a small fortune. Yes, you heard that right. A Washington Quarter that's worth $2.7 million. But how can this quarter be worth that much? What makes this particular coin so special? Stick with us as we break down the surprising story behind this coin, its value, and why it's captured the attention of coin collectors and investors everywhere. First, let's take a look at the coin itself. The Washington Quarter was first minted in 1932, honoring George Washington, the first president of the United States. The design, created by sculptor John Flanagan, is familiar to most of us. On the obverse, we see a portrait of Washington, and on the reverse, the iconic eagle perched proudly above the inscription E pluribus unum. Now you may be thinking, I've seen these coins before. And you're right. The 1986 Washington quarter was minted in Denver, and it's not exactly a rare coin. Millions were produced that year. But what makes this particular coin stand out from the rest? In 2016, a certain 1986 Washington quarter caused a stir in the coin collecting community when it was discovered in a batch of coins. This coin wasn't your run-of-the-mill quarter. It was actually a minting error, and not just any error, but a very specific type known as a double die error. A double die error occurs when the die used to strike the coin gets misaligned during the minting process, causing the design to be stamped twice in slightly different positions. In this case, the result was a very visible doubling of Washington's eye, his nose, and the date on the coin. Most double die errors are subtle, but this one was exceptionally clear. This error made the coin incredibly unique and valuable. And it didn't take long for coin experts and collectors to realize that they were dealing with something truly rare. Now, here's where the story gets really interesting. After this rare 1986 Washington quarter was discovered, it was sent to professional coin graders for authentication. Once verified as genuine, the coin was auctioned off in 2018, and the results were jaw-dropping. This rare 1986 double die quarter sold for a staggering $2.7 million. That's right, $2.7 million for a single 1986 quarter. The buyer? A private collector who saw the coin's immense value as both a historical artifact and an investment. Now, you might be wondering, what makes this coin worth so much? Let's break it down. First, let's talk about rarity. Even though the 1986 Washington quarter was widely minted, a double die error like this is incredibly rare. And the more unique the error, the more valuable the coin becomes. In fact, there are only a handful of known double die 1986 Washington quarters, and this one was in near perfect condition, another key factor that helped drive its price up. Second, there's the historical aspect. Coins like this are a snapshot of a very specific moment in U.S. minting history. Errors like these don't happen often, making them highly sought after by collectors who value the story behind the coin as much as the coin itself. Double die errors, especially ones that are as bold as this, are incredibly rare. Collectors want these coins because they're unique, they represent an anomaly in the minting process, and they have great investment potential. And because there's only one of this particular error in this condition, it's worth millions. Now, you might be wondering if you can find one of these valuable coins in your own change jar. While it's possible to come across rare coins, finding a double die 1986 Washington quarter isn't something that happens every day. However, it's important to know what to look for. Look for signs of doubling on the eye, nose, and the date. If you have a 1986 Washington quarter, take a close look with a magnifying glass or a loupe to see if there's any visible doubling. If you spot it, that coin could be worth a lot of money. Keep in mind that these types of errors are rare, but there are other valuable coins from the 1980s and 1990s that might be hiding in plain sight. So always check your coins carefully. Since the 1986 Washington quarter with the double die error sold for $2.7 million, the coin market has been paying a lot of attention to error coins and modern minting anomalies. But what does that mean for the future value of this quarter? As more collectors discover the potential value of error coins, the market for these types of coins could continue to grow. Some experts believe that rare coins, especially those with significant historical errors, will only increase in value as time goes on. So, if you find one, you might be holding onto a very lucrative asset. We've got something incredibly exciting to talk about. A coin that's not just worth a few bucks, but potentially worth millions. Yes, you heard that right. We're talking about the 2001 Washington $quarter coin, a coin that's taken the numismatic world by storm. In fact, its current market value has skyrocketed to an astonishing $2.6 million. So what makes this coin so special? Let's dive right into it. First, let's take a moment to understand the Washington quarter itself. The quarter, also known as the 25-cent coin, has been a staple of American currency for over a century. The design features George Washington, the first president of the United States, on the obverse. His profile is surrounded by the inscription Liberty, the year of minting, and the national motto In God We Trust. On the reverse, we see an eagle with a shield representing strength and unity. The Washington quarter was first introduced in 1932, and over the years, it has undergone several design changes. The 2001 Washington quarter, minted in Philadelphia, falls under the classic design that we've seen since 1932. However, not every coin from this period is created equal. Now, let's talk about what makes the 2001 Washington quarter so extraordinary. While most coins minted in the year 2001 are considered typical and not worth anything special, there's a unique aspect about a certain number of these quarters that makes them stand out in the world of collectors. In 2001, the U.S. Mint produced billions of coins, including the Philadelphia minted quarters. Typically, these are worth just 25 cents, as you would expect. However, among these billions, a small handful of coins feature a very rare and remarkable error. This error is one that collectors and numismatists have been obsessing over for years. The error we're talking about is something that very few people have ever seen. The rare 2001 Washington quarter features a mistrike or double die error. This means that during the minting process, the coin was struck twice, causing some details to appear doubled. The most noticeable doubling is found around George Washington's hair and the lettering on the coin, including the word Liberty. In the case of this specific coin, this mistrike has created a distinct, almost unnatural doubling effect that is highly sought after. Collectors call these coins double die errors, and they are extremely valuable due to their rarity. Not every 2001 Washington quarter is a double die, which is why the coins with the error are worth so much. In 2021, the world saw an extraordinary moment in the world of coin collecting. A 2001 Washington quarter featuring this very error was auctioned off for a mind-blowing $2.6 million. Yes, that's million with an M. This sale stunned the numismatic world, as it set a new record for the highest-selling quarter of this type ever. So, how did this particular quarter become worth such an astronomical sum? It's not just about the error. The coin itself was in pristine, mint-condition shape, and the combination of rarity, historical importance, and collector demand pushed it to new heights. Experts believe that only a handful of these 2001 quarters with this specific error still exist in mint condition. And because of this scarcity, collectors have been willing to pay top dollar. So how can you tell if you have one of these valuable 2001 Washington quarters? Well, it's all about the details. Look closely for the telltale signs of a double die error. Specifically, check for any doubling in the word Liberty or the date. You should also examine George Washington's hairline and the eagle on the reverse for any noticeable mistrikes. Oh, you'll need a magnifying glass or a loupe to spot these fine details. Also, make sure the coin is in excellent condition. Coins with errors, but also heavy wear or scratches, won't fetch as much as those in pristine or near mint condition. Right now, the market value for a 2001 Washington quarter with a double die error is sitting around $2.6 million. But don't expect that number to stay static. As more collectors discover and seek out rare coins like this, we could see the value continue to rise. It's a classic example of supply and demand. The rarer the coin, the higher the price. Now, for those of you wondering if your 2001 Washington quarters are worth anything, well, the majority of them probably aren't. But if you've got one with this rare double die error, you could be sitting on a small fortune. So, always check your spare change. You never know what you might have. Whether you're a seasoned coin collector or someone just getting started, the 2001 P. Washington quarter is a prime example of how the world of numismatics can surprise us. What seems like a small, everyday coin could actually turn out to be a valuable piece of history. So keep your eyes peeled and always do your research. Who knows, you might just discover a hidden treasure. We have a fascinating topic that's going to blow your mind. We'll be diving into one of the most talked about coins in the world right now, the 2002 D. Washington quarter dollar coin. What makes this coin so special? Why is it worth big money? And can you find one in your change today? Stick around because we're about to uncover the details of a coin that's currently worth an incredible $2.5 million. Cut to host standing with a large magnifying glass over a 2002 D. Washington quarter on the table. Yes, you heard that right. $2.5 million for a Washington quarter. But how exactly did this coin earn such an astronomical price? And how does it stand out from the hundreds of millions of quarters produced every year? We're about to break it all down, step by step. Let's get started. Cut to a close-up of a standard Washington quarter, both modern and older versions. First, let's take a quick look at the Washington quarter in general. Introduced in 1932, this coin has been a symbol of American pride for nearly 100 years. The design, which features the iconic portrait of George Washington on the obverse and an eagle on the reverse, has become one of the most recognizable coins in U.S. history. Over the years, the Washington quarter has undergone various changes, from design modifications to commemorative additions, but the core features have remained relatively the same. But now, let's jump ahead to the year 2002. Cut to a slow-motion shot of a 2002 D. Washington quarter with close-ups on its details. The 2002 D. Washington quarter was part of the series of quarters issued in 2002, which celebrated the 50th anniversary of the West Virginia statehood quarter. These quarters, minted in Denver, hence the D mint mark, were part of the ongoing state quarters program, which was hugely popular at the time. So far, nothing too special, right? A standard, mass-produced quarter from the early 2000s. But here's the catch. There's a specific, rare version of this 2002 D. Washington quarter that has taken the coin market by storm. This coin, like millions of others, was produced during normal minting processes. However, a select few of these coins were struck with a huge error that makes them extraordinarily valuable. These 2002 D. Washington quarters were struck with a significant double die reverse error. For those of you new to the world of coin collecting, a double die error occurs when the die used to strike the coin makes more than one impression, leading to a doubled or shifted design. In the case of the 2002 D. Washington quarter, the error occurred on the reverse of the coin, where the eagle's wings, in particular, show noticeable doubling. Now, let's get to the fun part. How do you identify this rare and valuable quarter in your collection, or perhaps even in your pocket change? The key is to look for the distinct doubling on the reverse side, particularly in the eagle's feathers. When you look closely at the reverse, you'll notice that the eagle's wings and the lettering appear doubled. This is the telltale sign of the double die error. If you're lucky enough to find one of these, you'll be holding onto a coin that could be worth a small fortune. Now, let's talk about the real reason why everyone's buzzing about the 2002 D. Washington quarter. Due to the rarity of the double die error and the high demand from collectors, this coin is currently valued at an astonishing $2.5 million. Yes, that's right, $2.5 million. You might be wondering, how can a common quarter be worth so much? Well, this is a very rare error, and only a handful of these coins have ever been found. When one of these quarters comes up for sale, it often goes for a jaw-dropping amount, making it one of the most sought-after coins on the market today. In fact, the last known sale of a 2002 Washington quarter with a double die error was for $2.5 million at a prestigious coin auction. This coin was a centerpiece, attracting collectors and investors from all over the globe, eager to own this piece of history. If you're wondering how much this coin might fetch at future auctions, well, it's likely to continue appreciating in value as fewer of these error coins are discovered. The demand for rare and unique errors like this one remains incredibly high. Now, you may be asking, can you find one of these 2002 Washington quarters in your spare change? Well, it's not impossible, but it's extremely unlikely. While the error was made during the minting process, only a small number of these coins have surfaced in the market, and they're extremely rare. That being said, if you're a collector or someone who enjoys checking your coins for errors, it's always worth keeping an eye out for this specific 2002 Washington quarter. And hey, you might just get lucky. So, if you think you've found one of these rare 2002 Washington quarters, you'll want to get it authenticated by a professional coin grader. Companies like PCGS or NGC are trusted in the industry and can give you an official grade and certification of the coin's authenticity and rarity. Once your coin is graded, it can be listed in an auction, where it may fetch the kind of price we're talking about today. So, there you have it, the 2002 Washington quarter, an incredibly rare coin that's worth an eye-popping $2.5 million due to its double die error. While it's highly unlikely you'll come across one in your everyday change, it's a reminder of how the world of coin collecting can surprise you with valuable treasures hiding in plain sight. Video is one you do not want to miss. We're going to be talking about a coin that might just be sitting in your pocket, or at least, it could be the one you find in a future coin roll hunt. Yes, I'm talking about the 2004 Washington $quarter coin, a coin that's worth a lot more than most people realize. In fact, did you know one of these coins just sold for a staggering $2.4 million? Stick around because I'll be diving into all the details about how this coin went from being a simple pocket change to a high-dollar collector's item. Cut to a close-up shot of the 2004 Washington $quarter coin in a protective case. Alright, so let's start with the basics. This is the 2004 Washington $quarter. It's a coin from the United States Mint that commemorates the first president of the United States, George Washington. The Washington quarter was first introduced back in 1932 to honor the bicentennial of George Washington's birth, and ever since then, it's been a staple of American currency. Now, the 2004 is part of the state quarter program, where each year, 5 different state designs were released to honor each of the 50 states. On the obverse, you have the familiar portrait of George Washington, and on the reverse, the coin features a representation of the state it's honoring. The 2004 Washington $quarter is part of a series that covers the quarter designs for states such as Michigan, Florida, Texas, Iowa, and Wisconsin. So, in 2004, there were a lot of regular 2004 quarters in circulation, but most of them, like those of any year, weren't worth much. However, this particular coin, in a very rare condition, has recently taken the coin world by storm. Here's where things get really exciting. A 2004 Washington quarter, a coin that was minted in Philadelphia and entered circulation like millions of other quarters, just recently sold for an insane $2.4 million. Yes, you heard that right, $2.4 million. Now, I know what you're thinking. How could something like that happen? After all, most of us have probably seen hundreds of 2004 quarters without ever thinking they were worth much beyond face value. So, let's break down exactly why this coin is so special, and why it went for such an extraordinary price. The key to this extraordinary value lies in something that most people would never notice unless they were actively searching for it: a minting error. That's right. A rare, accidental mistake at the mint is what has caused this specific coin to skyrocket in value. The coin that's sold for $2.4 million is what we call an off-center coin. Off-center coins are created when the planchet, basically the blank metal disc that gets struck to create the coin, wasn't properly aligned with the press during the minting process. As a result, part of the design gets cut off, leaving a coin that looks like it was poorly made. But in reality, that error makes it extremely valuable to collectors. Now, off-center coins are nothing new, but what makes this one so unique is the fact that it was a severe off-center strike. We're talking about a coin where almost half of the design is missing, making it incredibly rare. And the fact that it's a 2004p coin, a year with many millions of quarters produced, just makes it that much more extraordinary. Cut to a montage of close-up shots of rare coins in various conditions and collectors bidding at an auction. In addition to the off-center strike, the coin in question was in pristine condition, which is a big deal in the world of numismatics. The coin was graded by the Numismatic Guarantee Corporation, NGC, one of the most respected grading services in the world. It received a high grade of MS65, meaning it was nearly flawless despite the error. A high-grade coin like this is always going to fetch more money than one in poor condition, but add that amazing minting mistake, and you've got yourself a jackpot. It was auctioned off by a reputable auction house, which is a key factor when it comes to getting top dollar for any coin. The auction drew tons of attention from coin collectors, investors, and numismatic enthusiasts, which led to the unbelievable final sale price of $2.4 million. Now, I'm sure a lot of you are wondering, could I have one of these rare, off-center 2004p Washington quarters just sitting in my collection or even in my pocket change? Well, the answer is, unfortunately, no. Finding a coin like this is incredibly rare. Even though off-center coins happen occasionally, this particular coin's severity and condition were what made it so valuable. If you think you've got something like this, the best thing to do is get your coin appraised by a professional numismatist or submit it for grading. In most cases, these rare errors will be clearly noticeable. If the coin is missing a significant portion of the design, or if the coin is visibly off-center, you might have something special. But remember, to reach the $2.4 million level, the coin also has to be in excellent condition, and the error has to be extreme. Cut to a montage of different types of rare coins with various minting errors, like double strikes, die cracks, and more. If you're excited by the idea of finding a rare coin in your pocket change, here are a few other types of errors and rare coins to keep an eye out for. Look for double strikes, where a coin is struck more than once with the wrong alignment. Some coins can have die cracks, where the metal breaks away from the coin press and creates raised lines on the coin. Then, there are the 1999 wide rim quarters and 1982 copper pennies, both of which have made headlines for their massive values. So there you have it. The 2004p Washington quarter dollar with a minting error recently sold for $2.4 million, proving that even a coin you might overlook could be worth a fortune. Coin collecting is one of those hobbies that can start with a simple interest, but with a little bit of knowledge and a whole lot of luck, you could end up with a treasure in your hands. Remember, rare coins like this are the exception, not the rule, but if you know what to look for, you could be the next big winner. Video is going to blow your mind. We're talking about a coin that's generating massive buzz in the world of numismatics, the 2007 Washington quarter dollar coin, and it's worth a jaw-dropping $2.3 million. Yes, you heard that right, $2.3 million. Stick around as we dive deep into this coin's story, why it's so valuable, and how you might have one sitting right in your pocket. Let's get into it. Before we focus on the specific coin in question, let's take a moment to understand the history of the Washington quarter. The Washington quarter dollar was first minted in 1932 to celebrate George Washington's 200th birthday. It features a portrait of Washington on the obverse and an eagle on the reverse, a classic design that's been a staple in American coinage for decades. The Washington quarter has had its share of variations over the years, with different mint marks, designs, and even errors that have made certain years incredibly valuable to collectors. But in 2007, something special happened. A rare version of the Washington quarter was released that would go on to become one of the most sought-after coins in the market. So, what makes the 2007 Washington quarter stand out from the rest? The 2007 quarter is part of the series known as the State Quarter Program, which featured designs representing each U.S. state. But this particular 2007 quarter was not like the others. It was struck with a minting error that would ultimately make it one of the most valuable coins in modern American history. During the production of the 2007 quarters, some coins were accidentally struck with a double die error. This happens when a coin is struck multiple times by the die, causing the design to appear doubled. In this case, the doubling was so distinct that it was immediately noticeable. These double die errors are incredibly rare, and collectors are willing to pay top dollar for them. So how did this rare 2007 Washington quarter end up being worth $2.3 million? Well, it all started when a coin collector stumbled upon one of these double die errors. Initially, the coin was thought to be just another regular quarter. However, after some careful inspection, experts realized it was no ordinary coin. This was a double die 2007 Washington quarter, one of the rarest errors ever found. Once word got out, collectors went wild. Auctions started heating up, with bids soaring through the roof. In a record-breaking sale, this specific 2007 Washington quarter was sold for a staggering $2.3 million, making it the highest-priced Washington quarter ever sold. Now, you may be wondering, why is this coin worth such an incredible amount of money? Well, the answer comes down to a few factors: rarity, demand, and the condition of the coin. First, let's talk about rarity. Errors like the double die on this 2007 quarter are extremely rare. Most coins that are struck during the minting process are either perfect or have small, imperceptible errors. But when something as dramatic as this happens, where the design is doubled clearly and visibly, it's a real anomaly. This makes the coin a highly coveted piece for collectors and investors alike. Next, we have the condition. This particular 2007 Washington quarter is in exceptional condition, grading at an impressive MS69, which means it has nearly perfect features, with no significant marks or wear. Coins in this grade are far more valuable than coins with any wear, even if the coin is rare. Coin grading is a major factor in determining a coin's value, and with an MS69 rating, this coin is nearly as pristine as it gets, adding significantly to its worth. Now, let's talk about how you can identify if you have one of these valuable 2007 quarters. If you come across a 2007 Washington quarter, you'll want to closely examine it for any signs of doubling, particularly on the letters and numbers. Look carefully at the inscriptions, especially Liberty, In God We Trust, and the year 2007. If you notice any doubling, where the letters appear to be stacked or shifted slightly, you could have a rare double die coin in your hands. Also, check the mint mark. It should be a D4 Denver, which indicates the coin was minted at the Denver Mint. Without the D, the coin isn't the right one to look for. If you think you've found one, it's a good idea to get it professionally graded by a reputable coin grading service like PeaceGS or NGC. If you discover you have a rare 2007 Washington quarter with a double die error, congratulations! It's time to decide what to do with it. Many collectors choose to sell their coins at auction houses or through reputable dealers. Just remember, coins of this caliber can fetch record-breaking prices, but it's important to get the coin authenticated and graded properly before you sell. And if you're lucky enough to own a 2007 Washington quarter that is worth millions, you'll want to be extra careful when handling it. Get it insured, keep it in a secure place, and make sure you get it properly evaluated by experts. So there you have it, the incredible story of the 2007 Washington quarter dollar coin and why it's worth a mind-blowing $2.3 million. Do you have one of these rare coins in your collection? Let us know in the comments below, or maybe you've found a coin with a different rare error that could be worth big money. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and ring the bell so you never miss an episode. Thanks for watching, and happy collecting!